See if I can get a good setup here. So all of these YouTube videos, I just want you to see how deep this rabbit hole goes sometimes. We're talking about codependency, and these are my workings of codependency, still working it out of my system. So here we go. I have cleaned all my relationships outside, right? But I'm building the ministry with the Ascended Masters, and they're guiding me, right? And with that, there is let's see if I can do this. I feel like this is better. Let's see. Yeah, there's a deep recognition that I was still playing out codependent patterns with this channel, with people on the comments. I was playing out codependent patterns. It started creeping back in. Initially, I thought I was saving them. You're right? You see? You see how sneaky this is? And it's not that I did initially. Initially, it was a genuine, my heart wanted to help. But then eventually, you sort of get into the patterns of, okay, one free energy read, another free energy read, and a free energy read, and a free energy read. And I'm producing these remedies for people, and I'm letting it be up to them to basically decide if I'm worthy enough to purchase. Do you see how the extensions of our internal is what's creating the external? It's so beautiful to see. Because when I saw, and it was a chain of events that got me to see, let me tell you, it was lots of little cues that I was reading in the environment by beings that have proven themselves to be accurate over time in comment. Like there were certain people that commented that we had a resonance with, that we could sort of sense that, okay, this being is actually genuine, feels authentic, could see what we were doing, not just from the human, but more from a grander scale. And so it was one of those nudges from one of those people that triggered a whole bunch of like, oh, and then this one said that, which was really weird. And you know, this is how that virus creeps in. And there was some people on YouTube. I don't know if they were even people. It could be bots for that matter, really sophisticated bots. I don't know. But I started getting involved with the comments. They were giving me the approval that, oh yes, I'm doing well. But then it just started becoming a little bit sneaky. Like suddenly saying that, oh, your account is, you have a double ganger, or, you know, like just spreading seeds of confusion is not of the light. And so I noticed that I listened to those things, and I let that get to me a little bit. And I got into a sort of a sacrificial cycle. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, how deep the rabbit hole goes. So if you close it up here, that energy will find a way to show you where you're at. So then it was like, here, you're doing it there too. Okay, I see what needs to happen here. And then we got the download of basically the solution. Okay, we have to inject this, we have to inject that. I just got the whole landscape once I shifted. Once I shifted my knower, once I became aware what I was doing, then the solutions come. I need to see it first. And then now my body is so excited because it sees that, we were in a freaking cycle. Yeah, that's why I felt so freaking weird and drainy, like slowly leakage of drain. And that is beings that are just after your attention. It's a weird thing. Just getting your attention is enriching for them because they're still in the dualistic perspective and can't feed themselves energy. This is what we call energy vampirism. And many beings are still there, not knowing what they're doing, but that they're actually just getting energy because they can't connect to that source themselves. That is what I'm really, truly passionate about. And for that, I need to do my work. And my work, I have now changed habits so that I am doing different things with my energy, so that I will spend less time commenting and even paying any attention on what people say about what I'm posting even. Because if it's that, I mean, you know, I can start to like play tough and like, oh yeah, let's bring them, but what, like, why? I don't want to fight. That's not why I'm here. So I'm just going, I see. So all of that space can't truly be trusted because it's so much sneaky things going on there. That's much worse than just dealing with a person. You know, it's like all kinds of bots and hackers and people being bought and like all kinds of stuff. Like boosting, like you can pay someone to boost someone and then they have a bunch of teams that comments and like you can AI, like there are so many different things that is going on underneath the scenes that you are not even, it's not even funny. But that is on the level. And what matters is my frequency. And so I simply have to just make adjustments that cater to me. Whoops. That cater to me and my joy. That's what it comes back to again and again. Just live for me, you know? You just live for you. But, man, if you realize what you're doing when you're sucking energy and you start to reverse it, oh my God, it's like coming alive again. Because it's like taking one big giant binoculars off and then you are just seeing clearer. That is what it's meant when to see reality. Because I was losing energy. Why? Because I was catering to people. And that energy, it doesn't matter. That is codependent behavior. So we still had something left to clean. And this is how we learn. We learn by doing. This whole game of this free energy reading, that was them guiding me. It was a setup to like, let's go into it and let's see what's here. And I did. And boy, did I find some really, really great gifts that I have. I learned to how I can clear. It was an initiation. All of these people were like, how are you going to deal with all of this? And I assisted them all, give them the option to correct. And all of that turned into a higher session. They're very valuable for that person. It will help them reach enlightenment, actually, if they truly get the depth of the frequency that was given in those higher sessions. But that's the thing. I was in those frequencies to learn a lesson. I was in there dancing with them, showing them, helping them on their level. Some of them took it. Well done. Some of you took that and you stayed with it. You were open-minded enough and you felt the resonance. Well done. Good for you. That shows your level of awareness spiritually, actually. So, and right now, we have learned our lesson in that cycle. We have a little gecko or something here, just there observing us. And this is it. This was the big shift that I needed to see. And it's deep, because it goes deep into like, how often do we post these videos, right? And right now we got a whole nother inspiration of how to present these in a way that feels more fun and joyful for the body. And that's what it's all about. And that's how we keep stepping up in frequency, in experience. Don't stay in one place, operating in one particular thing. Change it up. Seriously. So now we're being asked. Gaia is confirming, I love it. We're being asked. Because we are building. We are now building a program that is based on everything that we have learned from them, to build an algorithm with a set of questions that is going to help determine what type of energy you are. So basically what what energy type you are. Like, there are certain characteristics of energy type, and if you are a certain way, it can very benefit you with higher sessions. And so we are working to be able to identify based on the questions and see how accurate we can make that algorithm, because that's what it is. It is an algorithm based on the more genuine and authentic that you are with the questions, the more accurate it will be. And this is something that right now we have, we would say maybe the beta testing of this. And so you're more than welcome to try it out. It is the free where are we going to place it? It is going to be placed in the newsletter. All the way down in the bottom it says free energy read. Click that and you will see the beta test. We would really love to hear if you feel that it was accurate. Please let us know if you have any how well you thought it was, you know, if it fitted. And so it's interesting because we are taught, even, hang on a second. No, where's... Ah, we did get coconut. Yeah. And that was the thing. That's why it felt odd. The last few days, it felt odd just recording these YouTube videos. Because it didn't come from the correct place. It came from a, now I'm going to be of service type of sacrificial energy, which is not what this is about. And so I felt like, oh, something is off here. And it took me a couple of days to fully have all of that land. And that was that Lionsgate portal. It was a lot of shifts that happened there. Yeah. And so it's just sort of like trickling into my experience, and I have to adjust to that upgrade in frequency, because that was an upgrade, a very, very big one. We have done all the right things, going with Gaia, going in the cycle that we are talking about. And by the way, there is a 28-day start, the 23rd of August. If you go to the calendar, if you go to our website, theholisticacademy.co/calendar, you should see that there is a schedule, and it's the next following start, the 28-day start. This is where we start. And on that day, it's going to be very special, because we're going to go through and basically make the map with you. We're going to guide you to make the map of your life and what life you want to head into, right? This is where we actually start to shift things and use the 28 days to support us. And so join us. It's you can once this is up, you can just go to our website. Under calendar, I believe there should be some links there. It's not ready yet, but by the time this is out, I want to make sure that that's up, so that you can find it there. And so there will be there's so much beautiful things because of this shift. This is how, when we shift, we receive blessings. This is how that ties in very directly in my life. So when I saw it, I needed to see it, right? I needed to see it. I need to be humble enough to know when I tripped. You know, that's what it was, a little bit. But it wasn't for no reason. We got a lot of gifts from that, because now we know how to read people's energy with Gaia and provide a remedy. We didn't even know that we could use our energy system like that. And we got shown, because of all of the clearing that we have done with this body. Our field is clean enough that whenever someone else enters it, we can read it like a book, because we've been there. We know the little tricks, we know what they're saying, and and it's not about trying to trick us either, right? Because it's what is available here is that you are able to quantum leap here. This is what this was. It was a quantum leap. And that is because in all of these 28-day cycles, we have done the correct things with what showed up in our life, who came in, what they were presented by, and we always gave the solution, truthful solution of what was happening with our bodies in relation to that body. So it is very valuable. But because when you see it, just like now, it's like, everything opens up. The floodgates open because you crossed to the next level. And this is what it is all about. Now we are receiving the next level of our journey in consciousness because we did right with all of these beings that came into our life. To the best of our ability, we honored their space with whatever energy they were coming with. But we also made sure that we exited their space just to keep a distance so that we are clean energetically, so that we don't fall for any codependency, right? And that was still a little blind spot that we hadn't experienced before with a client situation, because you're trained to be so good clients and treat your clients well and all of that stuff. And I grew up, my dad was a salesman, so he taught me all about that. And in such a very charming, but it is manipulation, you know, unless it's completely and 100% genuine. It is manipulation to manipulate people's behavior. And that's what I'm practicing, just to stay in the most amount of energetically correct thing that I can with my body. That's the game. And so now I saw a really big piece, and that is like, thank you. Thank you. I'm doing this for me. This is supposed to benefit me. You know, it's so easy to just go, yeah, of course, when you look at someone else's life, but like actually start to live it. Because that's the only way that you can actually observe yourself and where you're at. You not think that you're somewhere else than you are. You have to take the steps, you know? And so that is why we are inviting you to start with us. The 23rd of August, we start. You can choose to start with the free consciousness shift that we have, which is level 0. That's all for free, so you can join us wherever you are, and you can start that time, because that is the guidance for us to all synchronize, because then we are going with the natural cycles of Gaia. That calendar that we have is going with the natural cycles of energy and Gaia. And there are particular things that we can do in order to enhance our life so much more. And so that feels really good, because now I feel like I am, this is now we're up to date with the changes, also on how we're going to communicate all of this moving forward. That's really what it is. Because I noticed a loss of energy, because I used to just do something and then I just kept doing it out of habit, and I lost energy, and I'm like, what's going on? And we started seeing more and more, and we asked more. We wanted to know more, and asking for it to shift, right? Starting the alchemy process, and then eventually it just shifts. Because when we have done these energetic checkpoints, which are also part of the calendar, that you can join us for these energy checkpoints where we guide you how to correct your life so that you are adjusting and making sure that you are energetically correct in these particular critical junctions where there is sort of like a reset. And so that's what we're guiding you to as well with these energy updates. We have also 2 more events. One is in the middle of the 28th day, and then we have a celebration at the end. These are all wonderful things that adds up and builds the energy. So all the way at the end, it's important that we are taking the time to celebrate, and that we celebrate our accomplishment, knowing that we did what we planned from day one, right? So if you haven't already, sign up for the free 28-day consciousness shift and join us the 23rd of August. I am so grateful that we're finally starting this all together, and that you're joining me and joining us all to do this. All right, blabbing on. All right, take care, and we'll talk to you again in the next one. Ciao.